Welcome to Altitude Classics, our look back on great games in Avalanche history. And this game is one of the special ones. The playoff games are always hard-fought, low-scoring. Well, in this playoff game, you can throw that script right away. This was one of the wildest games. I'm not going to give away the score, but it just keeps piling up. This game was played less than 40 hours after Game 4, and you could just sense that something a little different was going to happen, and it sure did. Game 5 in Dallas, the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche.
Hardly a chance to catch our breath from that classic on Friday night. 36 hours later, the West final reconvenes at Reunion. Patrick Roy one stop better than his adversary with 43 saves 2 nights ago. He's 33 and 10 in overtime. And there is Eddie Belfour. He makes his 100th playoff appearance today. 42 consecutive saves the other night. The first 2 beat him, and so did the last one. Otherwise, he was brilliant.
I thought Eddie Belfour was sensational. I think he's been sensational throughout the playoffs so far. Everyone's expecting him to crack. Has not done that so far, certainly in this series.
How about the records of these 2 teams? Dallas 6-1 at home, and Colorado 7-1 on the road. Sakic starts along with Lemieux and Forsberg on the opening shift of the game against Modano, Lettinen, and Brett Hull, who scored in Game 4. There's Lemieux. Looking rink wide, Forsberg. He gets it in deep, and Sakic will go after it against Richard Matvechuk, who the Avalanche felt should have drawn a suspension for his hit on Forsberg in Game 4.
You know, I mentioned, Chris, that Mike Modano has been virtually untouched in this series. First shift of the hockey game, Corleone levels it.
Here's a flash by Hull, and Patrick Roy way outside the blue ice to make the first stop of the afternoon.
Well, the thing about Reunion Arena is the supports or the stanchions that hold the glass. They don't give you a real smooth surface when you try to clear the puck around the boards. You can see it's pumped up around the glass, but there's this strange bounce off one of the supports. Brett Hull's in perfect position, drills a slap shot. Look how aggressive Patrick Roy is on this play. And we've seen that more and more in this series. Patrick Roy not afraid to come out of his net to challenge because he knows that he has the defense behind him that are taking away the passing option.
So Patrick's into it, and now Nieuwendyk out with Langenbrunner and Reed. An effective line for Dallas. Joe Nieuwendyk has figured in 6 of the last 7 Dallas goals, including all 5 in Denver.
We mentioned, Chris, going into this game that a number of lineup changes for Bob Hartley. Big story of Game 4 was the return of Alexei Gusarov back on the blue line. He had been out since Game 1 of the Sharks series with a knee injury. It allowed Hartley to move John Clem up to the forward line. But Joe Sakic will be playing with a couple of new wingers in this one. He has spent some time with Deadmarsh and Drury, and I think it's actually a nice fit with Adam Deadmarsh on Sakic's wing. He's more of the power forward. Valeri Kamensky, I watched him in the pregame warm-up. He had a great deal of difficulty shooting the puck.
Zubov across to Sydor. That shot blocked by the forward Clem, usually a defenseman, and he limps to the Colorado bench. Darryl Sydor out at center ice. Nieuwendyk gets control and fires it into Colorado territory. Ozolinsh and Aaron Miller paired on defense for the Avalanche. Comes back to Sydor, and his shoot-in cut off, and out comes Aaron Miller. He looks across for Yell, hook checked away by Zubov, and back comes Dallas. Dave Reed over the line, Langenbrunner to the net, crashing into Roy, and the net knocked ajar, and Langenbrunner remains on Patrick Roy.
It was actually Joe Nieuwendyk. It was Nieuwendyk that accepted the feed, and boy, was there ever contact in the crease. Now, Nieuwendyk was looking back for the pass. He had the stick blade down on the ice. He knew that he was getting close to the goaltender, but he did not have time to put on the brakes. Outstanding sequence by Patrick Roy early on in this hockey game. Keeps the Avalanche tied at 0-0, but take a look at this play. The Dallas Stars drive aggressively to the front of the net, better than any other team in the league. And look at Nieuwendyk. Almost looks like he tries to throw on the brakes, but then he hesitates. Gets the stick up. Here it is from our net cam angle. Wow, but he gives Patrick Roy a pretty good shot. You know what? Joe Nieuwendyk's going to get a penalty here. Nieuwendyk will be sent to the box. And I don't know if that's a fair call for Nieuwendyk. there was a Colorado defenseman all over his back. He was driving hard to the front of the net. The question is, did he have the ability to throw the brakes on it and avoid contact with the netminder? Here's the ISO of Nieuwendyk. See, he just puts his head down. He actually takes a little bit of a shot from Drury. Can't really agree with that call. You know the referees are going to protect the goaltenders at all costs, but goaltender interference penalty levied against Joe Nieuwendyk early in tonight's game.
So Ken Hitchcock voicing his disapproval with the call. And the first power play comes a minute 27 into the game. Hitchcock's team has done such a brilliant job penalty killing, allowing just one Colorado power play goal in the series.
Penalty killing has been a huge story for Dallas. They just do not give the Avalanche power play unit time to get set up. Both of you said going into tonight's game, you know, that's the edge that we are looking for in this game today in Dallas. And that is to get our power play energized. It has not been nearly good enough.
Here's Ozolinsh over the line. Sandis Ozolinsh has it knocked off his stick by Matt Tkachuk. Hatcher up the boards. And Mike Keane at center. Can't get it by Lemieux. Carbonneau followed up. And now Sakic takes control. Keane hacking at Sakic and bringing him down, and Dallas will clear it.
Bob Hartley's been telling his players, guys, ideally, we want to generate something off of the rush. Dallas is just so good once you get set up in the offensive zone. It's the opposite of what most teams try to do when they're on the power play. Most teams content to dump it in, get set up. Not so with Colorado. An awful lot of talk, of course, in this series about the matchup between Darren Hatcher and Peter Forsberg, and boy, it was brutal in Game 4. A couple of times I was absolutely amazed that Peter Forsberg got up off of the ice and made it back to the bench. Check out these numbers. 29:45 by Peter Forsberg. Darren Hatcher in Game 4 played almost 38 minutes. Shots kind of irrelevant for Hatcher. His job is to bang Forsberg around. He has done that job admirably.
Drury just banged Drury. Ludwig as he hammered Drury along the boards, and they finally separate those two and get a whistle, and 55 seconds left in the Nieuwendyk minor.
You know, this is the battle that I'm talking about. Dallas has not missed a check, I don't think, in this series. And you look at the Stars defensively, and they've got those big wide bodies back there, like Ludwig, like Hatcher, like Matt Tkachuk. When they get an opportunity to take a player out, they don't just take him out of the play. They send a message as well. And that has got to take a toll as this series moves along. What does it do? Well, not only does it hurt, it forces the Colorado forwards to now play with their heads up in virtually every situation. And it's a lot more difficult to do that than to take the odd peek at the puck when you're handling it.
Now the face-off outside the line. Modano out in a penalty-killing role with Letton and Matt Tkachuk and Deadmarsh were exchanging slashes at the line. Deadmarsh, of course, with a heavy and controversial hit on Hatcher in the last game, and Matt Tkachuk drew the ire of the Avalanche players following the game, and there's Hatcher belting Deadmarsh out to the point. Lemieux plays it off to Sakic. Deadmarsh jostled in front of the net, a shot right on, and Belfour tested for the first time, and the war has resumed in Dallas.
Boy, Dallas does such a great job of keeping that area in front of the Stars crease clean for Belfour to see all those point shots. Belfour knows that if he can be like a big siphon in the crease, not allow any rebounds from kicking around the front of the net area, that he's probably going to be in pretty good shape. We've got Adam Deadmarsh battling his way to the front of the net. Sandis Ozolinsh takes the shot. You see Darren Hatcher's got his stick lifted a good 2 feet off the ice. That's exactly what Ed Belfour is looking for from his big defenseman.
22 seconds left in the power play. Kamensky looks for a loose puck in front of the net. And now Carbonneau sends it down the ice. Ozolinsh, who set up the game winner Friday night. Ahead it goes. Adam Foote to the Dallas line. Stars getting back to full strength as Hunter centers in front. Kamensky scores! Valerie Kamensky, as the power play ended, opens the scoring.
Great patience shown by the Colorado Avalanche. They don't retaliate against Dallas. They take the punishment, and eventually the Stars, looking for the big hit, get drawn out of position. Here they are on the rush. That's the key that Bob Hartley's looking for. Puck moves down low, and all of a sudden you've got a 2-on-1 set up across to Kamensky. He does not shoot the puck very well. He's playing with that bad wrist, but he gets enough on the shot to beat Ed Belfour. The whole key to the approach by the Colorado Avalanche is to try and turn this game into a game of outnumbered situations. They were able to do it on the opening goal of the hockey game.
What a pass by Dale Hunter, who took the face-off in the Dallas zone. And an important opening goal from Colorado, who has struggled playing from behind against the Dallas Stars. Hunter and Ozolinsh get the assists on the goal by Kamensky, his third in this, his 8th playoff game. 3:28 the time of the goal. And another penalty coming up against the Stars. 4:01 into the opening period of Game 5.
Sean Donovan takes an ill-advised penalty. It's a high stick. He's pushing and shoving with Craig Ludwig. Gives him a little bit of a shot to the back of the head. Not much of a penalty there, but here's Patrick Waugh's most difficult save, and he never saw it coming. You can see all kinds of traffic in front of the goal, but look at Waugh. Again, very aggressive because there are no Dallas players off to the side. That puck hits him high in the chest, not unlike the goal scored by Jamie Langenbrunner in Game 4. Dallas willing to just throw it to the front of the net and let the players in front set up the screen.
First full power play of the afternoon for Dallas. Modano takes the shot right on, rebound, loose in front, Lettinen on the doorstep. Back it comes to Zubov at the point. Now Modano takes over. Lettinen took a chop in front of the net. Yell, the penalty killer, preventing Zubov now. In front, Chambers can't pull the trigger, and it's cleared by Colorado.
Well, the forwards for the Avs up front, Stefan Yao, Sean Fordine, do a great job of collapsing down below the hash marks and taking away that center option for the Dallas Stars in the power play. So a real nice defensive play by Stefan Yao, who had, as you mentioned, Chris, a major impact in Game 4 of this series.
Langenbrunner upset. He thought he had negated the icing call there.
Stefan Yell, watch the work he does getting back to the front of the crease. Yuri Leitman is banging away at a loose puck. Yell comes back, takes the opportunity to bury him. Yell makes a great play at his blue line. That was in the first couple of shifts of tonight's hockey game. So, you know, there are all different ways to make contributions to a hockey club. Stefan Yell assumes a key penalty killing role for Colorado.
50 seconds gone in the penalty to Sean Donovan. Darryl Sydor got to the red line, sends it in. And Hitchcock, critiquing the power play, said they're not shooting enough. Passing up shots. Let's see if they fire it more here. Sydor got it across. Zubov in the slot. And that pass went high off the stick of Verbeek and out of play.
Off the stick of Pat Verbeek, almost decapitated Jamie Langenbrunner, who was set up in front of Patrick Waugh. Sergei Zubov is really the quarterback of the Dallas power play. He makes things happen. You see Colorado gets wandering around. See, as soon as one player loses his feet, watch what happens when the puck slides across. Out at the blue line here, a player went for the hit. That's why Pat Verbeek was allowed to slide in to the high slot, wide open, and he just drills it. See if you can pick up Jamie Langenbrunner's reaction. Boy, he just ducks down because it almost got him up high. But you can see the focus for the Dallas Stars. Get to the front of the net, compare the vision of Patrick Waugh, because he has been that good in this series. Very few clear shots have been able to beat him.
Well, just to finish the thought on Hitchcock's assessment of the power play, with all that said, he's not sure the power play is going to decide the issue on either side in the last 3 games. He just thinks the penalty killing's too good. Here's a chance for Verbeek, firing it, and a glove stop by Waugh, who tried to play it, then steps into Verbeek.
Taking it page out of the Dominic Hasek approach to playing the playoffs. Patrick Roy, little contact with Pat Verbeek. This is the thing, the more the fans boo here, the more Patrick Roy loves it. He just eats that stuff up, likes to be the center of attention. This was a pretty routine save for Patrick, because Pat Verbeek, when the puck turned over, before he could launch the shot, was actually standing still. And you just can't get much on it. You're not going to beat a top-flight goaltender from there. Here's Patrick Roy. Verbeek, you might notice, makes no effort to get out of his way. Bumps him just a little bit. And I like the fact that there are no calls made here by the officials. No harm, no foul.
But the Patrick Roy swagger is already in evidence. We talk about him being a third defenseman. He's a robust third defenseman.
There's really, I can't think of a single other player in the National Hockey League that when you look at him and watch him in the crease, you get a real sense of exactly the mindset of his entire team. He is the emotional barometer of the Colorado Avalanche, and they feed off Patrick Roy. When he's on, generally the Avs are on their game.
You know, he challenges his teammates and even had a hand in the overtime winner the other night. He told his teammates, start shooting high on Belfour. That's what Drury did, and he made reference to Watt after the game in talking about the game-winning goal. Modano now sends it across. Here's a shot by Chambers. Rebound. Yell hooked down by Nieuwendyk, and he'll go to the penalty box for the second time in this opening period.
That's a good call by Kerry Fraser. Joe Nieuwendyk was behind Stefan Yell, who had possession of the puck and probably would have been able to clear it out of the defensive zone. Nieuwendyk doesn't keep his feet moving. He reaches and hooks him right in the midsection. How often do you see that? When those forwards stop moving their feet and start reaching for players, they end up sitting down for a couple of minutes.
So 8 seconds remaining in the Donovan penalty. And then the Avalanche will get another chance. We're seeing more power plays here than maybe at any stage of game number 4. And you wonder if maybe fatigue is part of the factor.
I don't know if fatigue is a factor or not, but I can tell you this. I disagree with Ken Hitchcock. I think that power plays are going to play a huge role in the outcome of this series. You know, really, both teams have been able to win games without any kind of a successful power play so far. With the kind of talent both of these teams can put on the ice, I gotta believe it's going to come into play somewhere along the line.
Well, we'll see if it comes into play here for the Avalanche as they now return to full strength. Forsberg knocks it down at center. Lemieux steps up over the red line and in. He was belted on the play by Keane. Sakic in the corner. In as well, Deadmarsh. They try and work it out. Hatcher digging. And now it comes along the boards. Carbonneau gets it ahead. Keane one-on-one. Up against Lemieux. Keane shoots, scores!
Well, I'll tell you something. This play involves 3 players who know each other pretty darn well. Mike Keane recognizes it's a forward. Claude Lemieux, his old teammate, back playing defense. He gives him the old inside-out move and then throws it between the arm and the body of Patrick Roy. Great job by Carbonneau to just chip it out of the zone. Watch the move by Keane. Goes around Lemieux. Patrick Roy gets a piece of it, but it seems to go right onto the armpit. Just has enough steam to carry over the line. Huge goal for the Dallas Stars and Mike Keane.
It comes at the 12-minute mark, a short-handed goal. Mike Keane, the man that Hitchcock calls the conscience of his team.
Here's a look from the net cam. Patrick Roy would probably like to have that one back. I don't think Mike Keane got an awful lot on it, and it seemed almost to knuckle underneath the right arm. Keane, pretty good friends with Patrick Roy. That'll give him at least a portion of the bragging rights this summer.
in his 4th straight conference final. Remember, Colorado's still on the power play. A 1-1 tie now. Kamensky after it for the Avalanche. Back out it goes. Foot now with Ozolinsh on the point. And here's Foot teeing it up and firing it wide. Ozolinsh throws it to the front of the net. Deflected there. A neat deflection by Drury and a better save by Belfour.
You do get the sense that Colorado is a lot more willing just to put pucks on the net and hope they get Belfour. You can see him chatting with his defenseman. I don't think he had a good look at that redirect. Ozolinsh just snaps it into the crease area. There's the redirect by Drury. Belfour gets the paddle of the goal stick down on the ice. The redirect along the ice, so easily saved by the goaltender. You can see that butterfly style of Ed Belfour. He takes away the lower portions of the net, sacrifices the top corners, and dares you to put the puck there.
45 seconds left in the power play as Sakic faces off against Carbonneau. And the veteran Carbonneau won the draw, and they get it down the ice. Guy Carbonneau playing in his 200th Stanley Cup playoff game this afternoon. Out at center it goes. Deadmarsh fires it in. Belfour around the boards. And it's cleared back out by Dallas. Forsberg picks it up. Watched there by Carbonneau. Carbonneau comparing it to the old Battle of Quebec days when he faced Stastny. Here's a shot off Belfour. Sakic unable to come up with it behind the net, and Matt Bachuk hits Carbonneau in the back, and now on the second try gets it down the ice.
I tell you what, every time Peter Forsberg handles the puck, he draws a crowd. He's doing a wonderful job of bringing players towards him before dishing the puck off to an open winger.
Now Podine in deep, crashing in there, John Clem and Yell. This is the new checking line for Colorado, with the return of Yell to the lineup, and there's Yell stepping into Chambers. John Chambers stays on it. Around the boards to Reed. He can't get it out of there. Clem took a whack at it, and now Reed will get it out to center. John Clem, the native of Cranbrook, BC, gets it back in deep. And now he'll head to the bench, tied up with Strudlin. Brian Strudlin caught up at the Colorado bench. As play goes on, along with Podine. Well, that lasted about 10 seconds. Finally, play stopped.
And Strudlin saying that his skate was caught inside the gate of the Colorado bench. It's going to be interesting to see how the referees get this one sorted out, but I think we got 4-on-4 hockey coming up. Sean Podine is sitting in the box, so is Brian Strudlin. Kind of an unusual little skirmish over at the Colorado bench. We'll see if we can pick it up here. Strudlin actually gets wrapped up by Podine, and Podine actually almost looked like he tried to drag him inside, and then he catches his legs. He's got it trapped in between both knee pads. Strudlin can't get back to his own bench. He's got to fight his way out of there. We've got 4-on-4 hockey coming up for the next couple of minutes. Plenty of open ice for the Stars to strut their stuff.
Stars have Nieuwendyk and Langenbrunner, who chopped at it in front of the net. Nieuwendyk taken down as Patrick Waugh smothers it. And the Avalanche more in defensive posture here with Yell and Clem up front.
Well, territorially, the Avs have done a great job in this opening period. Jamie Langenbrunner has had a whale of a playoff series. They were a little bit disappointed, and a lot of the talk around Dallas centered around Langenbrunner, and if maybe Bob Gainey was going to go out and get a left winger to play on that second line. Langenbrunner ended up moving over to the right side where he is a lot more comfortable, and as a result, his production has rose by leaps and bounds.
And he only had 12 goals all year, one in the last 18 games, but look at the factor he has been in these playoffs.
Yeah, second most goals for the Dallas Stars, so they're getting the kind of production out of Jamie Langenbrunner that they expected, and that's got to put a smile onto the face of Bob Gainey, although it often takes a lot to do that.
Now Zubov got it to Modano, who's now paired in front with Hull, and a pass for Zubov deflects into the seats.
Mike Modano, always encouraged by his coaching staff to get more involved in the middle of the ice. It was interesting. Modano's racking up the points, and yet Bob Hartley said that he loves this confrontation between Peter Forsberg and Mike Modano. Hartley kind of suggested to us, I can tell you this, Modano does not feel comfortable playing against Peter Forsberg. Hartley will try to get that matchup whenever he possibly can. More often than not, especially here at Reunion Arena, Peter Forsberg faces Carbonneau on the ice.
Zubov tried to thread a pass through, knocked down, and now Gusarov. The Sakic without either line mate. The broken collarbone has sidelined Milan Hajduk for the rest of the year. And Theo Fleury, if you're joining us late, out today with a case of the flu. Sakic tried to snap the shot, knocked down by Zubov. There's Sydor pushing it to his partner and rolled ahead. Here's Brett Hull, 2-on-1 with Modano. Hull, Modano, too far. Sydor scores! The trailer! Was victimized for the game winner the other night and felt terrible about it, has put Dallas ahead.
Well, let's keep an eye on Darryl Sydor. Here he is on the right side of your screen, and as the puck turns over, Sydor is going to race up and join the attack. Look at that. He actually starts it from behind his own goal line. Joe Sakic is skating right beside him, but Darryl Sydor outraces Joe Sakic down the ice, accepts the pass from Mike Modano, and he has a wide open net to bury it. What a great play by Darryl Sydor. Nice pass, hold to Modano, but he runs out of room, so he just throws it to his face. And fortunately for him, Darryl Sydor was in the right spot at the right time. Great effort by Sydor.
Yeah, he had a rough night after the winning goal Friday. That was a tough one for him to take, but he'll feel better now. Here's Forsberg in front, rolling that shot off Belfour. So Sydor gets the go-ahead goal for Dallas. Here's Forsberg, knocked down by Matvichuk as they go at it. And Nieuwendyk takes a hit, but out they come. Letton and Hatcher, another 2-on-1. Here's Letton in his pocket picked by Deadmarsh. Oh, 4-on-4, Dallas dominating. Now Letton behind the net, hit by Miller. And Ozolinsh will take over, a dozen seconds remaining in the penalties to Podine and Strudlin.
All the gambling of the Colorado Avalanche, a little bit too much, I'm sure, for Bob Hartley to tolerate in the 4-on-4 situation. Twice in the last two shifts, they have had defensemen caught up ice.
Carbonneau hounding foot, and down they'll go. And it's cleared outside the line. Blake Sloan turns. Sydor from Hull and Modano, and now Sakic bursting in. Joe Sakic, what a stop, glove save. Belfour robbed him. What a chance for Sakic, and Belfour closed the door.
Joe Sakic got the monkey off his back last game with a huge goal. Big confrontation here. Sakic against Ed Belfour. Sakic goes to the backhand, but Belfour just simply outweighs him, comes across with the left hand, and makes a beautiful stop.
Ed Belfour went back to practice yesterday after the loss, took a lot of shots. Said he wanted to regain his mental focus after the disappointment of losing Game 4. Donovan does get it out and brought in offside off the stick of Matvichuk. 3:17 remaining in this first period that Darryl Sydor has given Dallas a 2-1 lead.
And Darryl Sydor is one of those guys that Ken Hitchcock is looking more from in this series. Here's a look from our net cam, the Sydor goal, but you can see Patrick Waugh, like a soccer goalie, had dove across the crease to prevent Mike Modano from sliding it in the short side. When Modano chipped it back into the middle, he was caught badly out of position. That's one of those goals where goalies just forget about in an instant, because if the offensive team can pass the puck around you, well, it means you're not getting enough help from your teammates.
Here's Langenbrunner. Yell in pursuit. Takes him to the glass. Nieuwendyk will take over. Drops for Sydor. Shots are even, 9 apiece. Scoring chances even, 6-6. But the Stars have the edge on the board on that Sydor goal. Off the stick of Aaron Miller, shoveled ahead. And now Sydor puts it back into center ice. Stars changing on the fly as Sydor goes back to get it. Sergei Zubov, cross-ice pass. There's Modano to Letman. He couldn't take it. And turning the other way on a change, Deadmarsh lost control of it, unable to pounce on that bad change by the Dallas defense. Boy, the ice opened up there. Now it opens again. Belfour, another stop. And Hull takes over.
Huge save by Belfour. Boy, I think Adam Deadmarsh had an awful lot of room. He just couldn't bury it.
Modano, a high shot. Ludwig steps up, plays it in behind the net. There's Modano with it again. Went without a point in Denver. Red Hull back to Letman. He's taken off the puck by foot. And now Drury goes after it. Chris Drury can't clear the zone. Letman off the boards, fires right on, and Waugh will cover after a good shift by the Modano line with less than 2 minutes to go.
Goalkeepers have been busy in this hockey game. Here, Letman's just going to run out of room here. Watch the way that Adam Foote plays this in front of the net. There's Foote. Plays the 2-on-1 perfectly. Takes away the passing option. Letman runs out of space and tries to go top shelf. Can't do it. Just a little while ago, Ed Belfour made a great save. But, boy, you know what? He was out of position. I don't know if Adam Deadmarsh ever cleanly accepted that pass. Players are starting to have a little bit of difficulty handling the puck as we get towards the end of the period. That's not unusual no matter what building you're playing.
And one of the worst areas is right around the goal mouth where players are driving and putting on the brakes. We talked to Theo Fleury after Game 4, and he felt that was the reason Sakic missed that great chance late in the third period that could have ended proceedings prior to overtime. Puck just jumped on Sakic as the pass was being received. Now Forsberg behind the net. Can't get it in front. Skrudland checking him. Now Skrudland knocked down. Kamensky loses it in turn. Now he'll get it back. Shot blocked by Skrudland and sent out by the Stars. Aaron Miller played it back in, but Forsberg was late exiting the zone.
We've talked a lot about the Hatcher-Forsberg matchup. Well, that last shift, Peter Forsberg, I think, had taken enough. Darian Hatcher is complaining to the referee right now because Forsberg actually initiates contact with Hatcher when he doesn't have possession of the puck. Watch this. Watch Forsberg and Hatcher. Puck turns over. Here comes Forsberg. Well, that's one way to create a little bit of space for yourself. He got away with that one. I don't think he'll get away with it anymore.
Well, prior to the game, Hatcher said he's the best player in the world, so it is grudging respect as those two combatants go toe-to-toe. Final minute. First period, Game 5. 2-1 Stars. Colorado not without its share of great chances. Carbonneau still in the middle of it, and finally out, and Keane flips it in on Waugh. They'll quickly played ahead. Drury up to Sakic, and now it's Deadmarsh over the line. Ozolinsh by his man, walking in, scores! Sandis Ozolinsh has tied it.
On the rush again. Boy, there's been a lot of attack plays on the nets on the rush in tonight's game. Sandis Ozolinsh, the riverboat gambler, jumps into the attack. It's all started by the puck handling ability of Waugh. He knocks it down, fires it off the glass, and all of a sudden Colorado gets that transition game. They kick it into the middle. Watch the little drop pass, Deadmarsh to Ozolinsh, and this again goes between the arm and the body of the goalkeeper. Great play by Adam Deadmarsh. He just freezes Sean Chambers, dishes it off, and Deadmarsh creates a little bit of space by setting a pick on Zubov. What a play by Deadmarsh to buy some time and some space for Ozolinsh.
Yeah, he effectively, one way or another, took out both defensemen.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know what Ozolinsh can do with the puck? That's his first even-strength goal in the playoffs. His 4th overall. Ozolinsh on a similar play, racing in the final minute of overtime the other night, found Drury for the game-winning goal. Another intriguing period in this Western final.
Huge swings in momentum is what we've seen throughout this series. Is certainly what we saw in the opening period tonight.
Now we're getting set for the second period. Brian Hayward, you get the impression that the fans and Us up here in the booth enjoyed that first period a lot more than the coaches on either side.
And I thought Sandis Ozolinsh in particular had a phenomenal opening 20 minutes of play. And you know what? I looked at the games that he played. Remember, he was a contract holdout early in the season. He only played 39 regular season games. It would appear to me that Sandis Ozolinsh, more than any other of his teammates, has a lot of gas left in the tank.
Remember, he came back. They had been decimated by injuries on defense and the holdout for Ozolinsh. He returned to the lineup, and the Avalanche won its next 12 games upon his return. He had 4 shots in that opening period. He had a point on the first goal and then scored to tie it, and has matched Al McInnes and Jason Woolley in points by defensemen in the Stanley Cup playoffs with 12 to share the lead. So the second period underway, a 2-2 tie, and how much will it tighten up?
Well, Bob Hartley again starts a period with both Joe Sakic and Peter Forsberg on the ice at the same time. He's going to double shift them, switch up his line combinations periodically. He'll max out the ice time on those two great forwards.
Forsberg just got a piece of Belfour, and he's headed off. Boy, we've seen a lot of this, maybe more of it in the Buffalo-Toronto series. This time it's Forsberg getting caught up with Belfour, and he'll have to serve 2 minutes.
Well, you know, the precedent was established pretty early on when Kerry Fraser sent Joe Nieuwendyk to the box for goalie interference on Patrick Roy. See Forsberg, it might look accidental. I can guarantee you it was not. Peter Forsberg has better lateral mobility than perhaps any other player in this league. If he had wanted to avoid contact with Ed Belfour, well, he would have avoided the contact.
Well, Kerry Fraser has gone over to Bob Hartley and asked him to let the referees on the ice handle the game. We are eavesdropping in the truck on Kerry Fraser and his conversations. Didn't like the fact that Hartley's complaining about all the calls. There's a shot, loose puck in front, wraparound try, broken up by Foot as Langenbrunner had a chance. Now Sydor across to Zubov, yell on Sydor, and there's a blast by Langenbrunner that goes off Waugh and into the seats.
You know, Jamie Langenbrunner had Patrick Waugh beaten on the play. I think that may have gone off the top of the shaft, the goal stick for Patrick Waugh, and deflected up over the glass. Pretty good pressure on the power play. Joe Nieuwendyk takes a whack at a short rebound. There's the attempted wraparound that does not work. The puck drifted back to the point, back into the hands of Langenbrunner. You see what Langenbrunner's saying to the referee? Why is the face-off outside? That puck caught a piece of Patrick Waugh before it went over the top of the glass. And he's a little bit surprised that none of the 4 officials on the ice saw it the same way that he did.
Had the feature of the young players in the intermission, but here's a guy last year, just 1 goal in the playoffs. Learning experience over a number of years. And for Langenbrunner now, starting to pay dividends. Out there on this power play, there's Verbeek with the puck back to the point. Sydor's shot wide of the net. Ricocheting all the way out to Zubov. Now Nieuwendyk drops it off, gets a return pass neatly to Sydor and off the side of the net. And had all the fans in behind the goal responding. Now a shot, loose puck, score! Joe Nieuwendyk's got another!
Boy, does he have a quick set of hands down low. Watch the way. This kind of a broken play. The puck is going to move across as it's shot just wide of the net. There's the one that banked off the side of the goal by Sydor. But it's drifted out to the front of the net. I think it got caught on the skate blade of Adam Foot and just sat down for Joe Nieuwendyk. There's the shot. Reed wheels and deals. It's actually caught in the skate of Joe Sakic. Nieuwendyk wins the battle to the loose puck. He's He's got a wide open net again, staring him right in the face. Boy, a couple of wide open nets for the Dallas players to slide it home so far in this afternoon's game.
And Nieuwendyk ties for the Stanley Cup playoff lead in goals with 9. Here's a shot by Carbonneau, knocked down before it got to the net. Steve Yzerman, the other player with 9 goals in the playoffs. Kamensky, that pass off the skate of Carbonneau. And for the second time this afternoon, the Dallas Stars have the lead. Darryl Sydor with 2 points on the day. Carbonneau clubs the puck down, plays it back in for Marshall. Marshall watched by Ozolinsh. Carbonneau along the wall. Forsberg knocked it loose. And the fans now chanting, trying to get under the skin of Patrick Waugh. As Kamensky played it in. Forsberg nails Jere Lehtinen.
Certainly didn't appear to be anything wrong with the shoulder of Peter Forsberg. Barry Lehtinen just outside the Dallas blue line. We've had the watch on Forsberg all game long.
Drury took that pass over 2 lines. There's the goal scorer, Joe Nieuwendyk. He has been red hot now with 9 goals and 16 points in the playoffs.
Joe Nieuwendyk, I was going to say, leads all goal scorers, 5-game winners so far in the postseason.
There's Drury racing in as Chambers lost his footing. Deadmarsh centers, comes back to the point, played back in deep. Deadmarsh, Chambers nails him. Drury off the side of the net. He'll get it back again. Drury jamming twice, scores! Chris Drury, the rookie, jammed it under Belfour.
I tell you, this kid, Chris Drury, he loves the spotlight, and this is a gritty goal for any rookie to score in the National Hockey League because he just jams away at the side. He knows he's going to get hit, but he is persistent. Greg Ludwig takes him in the corner, and Ludwig had fallen down on the play. There's Ludwig now in front of the net. Puck circles in behind. Right there, Mike Modano skates right past Chris Drury and can't get back in time. Boy, Drury had a little bit of time. I love it when players walk out of the corner and just try to jam. You see Ed Belfour actually had left the short side post. I'm not so sure that Sean Chambers didn't knock that puck into his own net. Looked like he was trying to bat it out of the crease area and pushed it over the goal line himself. Chris Drury, who of course scored the big overtime winner in Game 4, ties this one up at 3.
Remember, he was moved up into a more offensive role in Game 4 when Milan Hayduk went down with the injury. Bob Hartley was telling us the first couple of shifts he was so nervous on the new line, he just iced the puck. Said he was treating it like he was handling a bomb. But you know that he got comfortable because of what he did at the end of the game.
Well, he sure looked pretty cool as he walked out of the corner here, jams it into the side. You see Belfour exit the post, and there it is. Chambers knocks it over the line. A couple of quick goals in this game. Joe Nieuwendyk on the doorstep. Boy, he's got the quick hands. Off the skate of Adam Foote onto the tape of Nieuwendyk. No chance for Waugh.
So it looks like it could be a shootout in the Wild West this afternoon. A couple of goals in 1:34 early in the second period. Back on even terms. Nieuwendyk, he's nailed by Drury. Pass ahead, knocked down by Ozolinsh to Sakic. Sakic rolling it in. Now Deadmarsh sizing up Sydor, who got the puck to Zubai. Quickly ahead on the left wing, Dave Reed at center. Can't slide the pass through, broken up by Kamensky. There's Ozolinsh to Deadmarsh. Long shot right on Belfour.
Adam Deadmarsh has had a strong game for Colorado. He is impressed not only for his work in the offensive zone, but defensively as well.
Well, they've had to step up even more with Theo Fleury out of the lineup this afternoon. Now Forsberg over the line. Kamensky rolling it in deep. There's Lemieux dropping it off. And Hatcher goes at Forsberg and went down on the play. How about that for the strength of Peter Forsberg? And now there's a long shot by Matt Matchuk. Caught up ice was Lemieux. And now Claude Lemieux getting back into the play. Has the puck. He was shaken up. Kamensky fires. And that one just missed. Law behind his net to Foot. Foot plays it ahead. John Clement center to the line. And now back out. That goes off the back of Brett Hull. Yell was trapped offside, so delayed offside, but the Stars will work it out. Ludwig sends it in. There's Hull in forechecking. So is Lettman. But the loose puck comes to Colorado, and Yell headmans it. Bodine knocked down by Modano. And Chambers up to Hull and Modano. Modano speeding in, right wing pass Lettman. Lettman gets it back again. And he can't get it in deep, and Donovan will start back. Sean Donovan in his second game of the series, and he's nailed there by Sydor.
I'm not so sure that Darryl Sydor didn't get the worst of that little confrontation.
Now Modano spins it in and heads to the bench. Adam Foot up to Donovan at center. He'll flick it into the far corner. Hunter goes after it, holds up Zubov. That allows Eric Messier. Seeing a rear shift up front for Colorado. Messier, number 29, seeing his first action of the series. He played 9 seconds in the first period.
And that's going to be important too, Chris, as this game moves along, for Hartley to get as much mileage as he possibly can out of his third and fourth line.
There's Grant Marshall. Got a glove in the face from Hunter. What else is new? Now Hunter upended in the corner by Verbeek. Couple of guys from the Sarnia area battling, and Verbeek got a shot away, and Hunter had to pull him down. Verbeek hauled down by Hunter, who's headed off.
Earlier in that last shift, Dale Hunter was looking for a penalty against Pat Verbeek right there for a pick that Verbeek set on him. He didn't get the call, tried to draw another one. Well, Pat Verbeek is going to end up with this puck on his stick, and Dale Hunter has to grab him from behind, wrestle him down to the ice. He'll sit down for the next couple of minutes. Pretty good hit between Darryl Sydor and Sean Donovan moments earlier. Physical part of this game has picked up the last little while.
Stars 1 for 3 on the power play this afternoon. So they have made an impact, as you suggested they might.
Well, I'm also going to take credit for the first Colorado goal, scored 1 second after Joe Nieuwendyk got out of the box. There's just no possible way that two teams with this much talent can be kept off the board with a man advantage.
Stars came into the game 7 for 70, 10%. They were 10 for 100, 10% last year. Loose puck side of the net, comes with 3. Now it's Zubov shooting right on. Sydor on this near side. Up with the rebound, watched by Lemieux. Forsberg, the other penalty killer, up front. There's Lemieux hacking at Sydor. Still after it, Verbeek. A shot right on the bouncing puck. Sydor again. 35 power play points during the regular season. Zubov couldn't handle it. Now Forsberg takes down Zubov and comes up with the puck. Fans in an uproar here as Forsberg whips the shot on, short-handed.
Tell you, Peter Forsberg is just so strong on his skates, almost impossible to knock off that puck.
Now Zubov sidestepped a check by Yell. Puck down the ice, and Aaron Miller off the glass, hit Modano. Modano in front quickly. Off a skate, and Yell starts back. Here's Sakic short-handed. Chambers cuts him off. They go to the end boards. Down to 17 seconds remaining in the power play. Brett Hull straight down right wing. Now cuts in, and Aaron Miller knocked it off the stick of Lettman. Sakic gets it to center. Hunter getting set to return.
I was going to say a nice job again by the Colorado penalty killing unit. They give Dallas the shot from the blue line, but for the most part, the Stars seem unwilling to take them.
There's Hunter out of the penalty box and getting it to center ice. Traffic in front of the Dallas bench. Modano and Hunter tied up. Now Hunter trying to work it by Keane. Loved it, and That is a hand pass to stop play. Tied at 3. Furious action in Dallas in Game 5.
Special teams have been pretty prominent so far in this game. Watch the penalty taken by Mike Modano. Dale Hunter takes a run at him. Modano loses the puck and then wheels. Gives a little bit of a chop to the back of the legs of Stefan Yell. He'll sit down for the next couple minutes. Now, earlier in the game, a couple of some interesting little skirmishes involving Sergei Zubov and Peter Forsberg. That's what the fans were upset about. They thought that Forsberg could have taken a penalty. Here was a great hit by Forsberg on Hatcher. See him just drop that left shoulder. Boy, Peter Forsberg does that better than virtually every other player I've ever seen in the National Hockey League. Hatcher lined up Claude Lemieux, give him a shot. Looked like Lemieux was trying to draw a call there. Kerry Fraser was not buying into it.
So the fourth power play of the afternoon for Colorado. They're 1 for 18 in the series as Forsberg leads them in. Now hands it off to Sakic, rolling it across in front. Now Ozolinsh from a bad angle off the stick of Keane. Played back to Lemieux. Ozolinsh trying to throw it across. Forsberg nailed by Carbonneau. Sakic with shot. Knocked down in front by Matvechuk and cleared.
Well, the one thing that Colorado continues to do is to have Sandis Ozolinsh just slide down low on the power play. So they're really not attacking with just 3 forwards. Ozolinsh makes it 4 down low. And let's not forget about the shorthanded goal scored by Mike Keane, because when Ozolinsh slides down, Claude Lemieux is left exposed.
Kamensky, Deadmarsh, shot, scores! A power play goal by Adam Deadmarsh.
Deadmarsh has got all kinds of time and space, and he walks in and just tees this one up. This one's from the ladies' tees. This is almost from the face-off dot. He's given a good 20 feet to skate in and blast. Watch this. You see the line change? Adam Deadmarsh jumps off the bench. No, he actually circles through the neutral zone. It was Kamensky that jumped off, got it to Deadmarsh, but look at the room he's got to just unload a bomb, almost from the face-off dot. Drills it through the 5-hole, but he got an awful lot on this shot. Just way too much time for Deadmarsh to unload.
8th goal of the playoffs for Deadmarsh, who came into this game without a point in the series, but now has a goal and an assist. And the Avalanche have their second lead of the afternoon. They led 1-0 and now have a 4-3 advantage on a power play goal. Take a bow, Mr. Hayward. I think I misrepresented Ken Hitchcock a little bit too. He said long-term success in these playoffs. In the short term, power plays are having a better afternoon. Nieuwendyk off the boards. Now in behind the net, Dave Reed. And Podine. Deadmarsh with a goal and 2 assists, so a 3-point afternoon for a guy that had to raise his game with the absence of Theo Fleury. And he's done just that, so is Chris Drury, as we've seen with a goal. Good shift to the Nieuwendyk line as they start to apply pressure. Gusarov up the boards. Pinching in on the play was Ludwig, and finally it comes out. Langenbrunner sends it back in, but Nieuwendyk was slow to get out, and the offside is called.
Well, here's a look at that last goal. Keep an eye on the 5-hole, the area between the pads of Ed Belfour. To take it away, you have got to get down before the shot is released. Belfour was a split second too late. That's why Deadmarsh found the space.
You know, we went back through the first 4 games of the series. Couldn't think of a clear-cut bad goal allowed by either netminder. I think we've got a couple in this 5th game.
We've got a couple that I'm sure both would love to have back. More importantly, all they have to think about at this point is the game is still there to be won and lost. Plenty of hockey left. Boy, we've got 8 minutes remaining in this second period.
7 goals on 36 shots. Modano testing one. Rebound comes out to Sydor. Modano in the corner. Nailed by Gusarov. Hunter took a 2-hander at it. Now Zubov stepped up. Hunter got in the way and flips it out to center. Messier back out there and a giveaway. Here's Dale Hunter. Hunter moving in. Centered it in and Donovan was tied up. I think Dale Hunter was surprised at how alone he was down that left side.
And I think that Dallas was very fortunate that it was Messier out there on the wing along with Hunter, who was thinking defense first and not looking to jump up and join the attack.
The great veteran Dale Hunter playing in game 184. Here's Verbeek, a pass across. Dale Hunter's played more Stanley Cup playoff games than anybody else without getting his name inscribed on the cup. Trying to change that. And this is 19th year in the league. Under 7 to play, second period.
Ted Drury involved in a close play at the Dallas blue line. You know, with Ozolinsh really joining the attack on every rush, it puts a premium and a little bit extra pressure on the Colorado forwards who are trailing the play to make great decisions in the blue line. Moments ago, Drury made an outstanding one.
Erdlund hacking at foot as he comes out of the Avalanche zone. Got rid of it to center, and it's drilled right back in. In fact, Wood had to duck on the play, and the puck ends up bouncing right to the goaltender as Skrudlands causes some traffic in front. We join Scott Russell.
Thanks very much, Chris. Warren Reichel has a cup with Colorado in '96, went away for a while to Anaheim. Now he's back. You were yelling at the TV, though, a little while ago, saying we're taking too many chances.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we love the fact that we're up by 1, but we're giving too many odd man rushes and we're not tight in our own end. So it's tough underneath watching it on TV, but I think the boys will be okay.
How handicapped are you without Fleury and Hayward?
Well, I mean, these guys, their stats speak for themselves. They're two great guys. You know, Fleury's a great player, playoff proven, and you know, Hadjuk probably rookie of the year, runner-up. And I mean, we miss them big time. It's a lot of goals out of our lineup.
I know you'd love to be involved in this, but keep the faith. Thanks, Warren.
Thanks, Scotty.
Guys.
You know, Reichel makes an interesting point about Hayduk. The one thing that he brings to this team that Bob Hartley said he might miss more than anything is his defensive play. He goes, he may be our top 2 or 3 smartest forwards in terms of his positional play in the defensive zone. He'd love to have him here protecting a lead.
All right, we just saw Joe Sakic win a face-off for Colorado deep in the Avalanche zone. That's been an area that Dallas has really dominated in the series, and perhaps even more pronounced today in Game 5 so far. Sakic got one there.
Over 80% in terms of winning the draws in the opening period for the Dallas Stars. Remarkable.
I don't remember ever seeing that stat that pronounced. The shot slides wide of the net in a period in a playoff game. Here's Drury with Ozolinsh. Potential 2-on-1. Broken up by Zubov. Now quickly the other way, Modano unable to bring in the pass. And Drury at center. Got it in deep. Talked to Theo Fleury after Game 4. Drury bounces into Hull as he heads to the bench. He talked about Drury wanting to be a great player. Sydor around behind the net, lost his footing, and Reed rolled it to the net. Forsberg up with it. He got out of the way of a Nieuwendyk check, rolls it ahead, and here they come. Lemieux, Forsberg, and Kamensky. Forsberg took the drop pass, put it in front of the net, and Matvichuk is there. Out at center, Nieuwendyk. He has scored his 9th goal of the playoffs this afternoon. But the Stars trail by 1. Keane intercepts. There's Nieuwendyk, fires right on. Good pad save by Waugh. Nieuwendyk along the boards. Langenbrunner to Keane, to Hatcher, and he shot high. Trying to go upstairs on Patrick Waugh, and he put it too high. Kamensky the other way, got out of the way of Hatcher, who threw the elbow out just to make sure. Now Marshall. Marshall after the puck again in the corner with Keane. Stars are on it. That's John Clem against Keane battling. Keane still has possession. Now Marshall knocked off his stick by Forsberg. And the fade to the line. Kept in by Matvichuk, and now it's out off Forsberg.
You know, Dallas has had a number of pretty good chances to last in a while, but I can't help but think that Colorado has got to love the way this game is played in terms of style. They are a much better open ice team than the Dallas Stars are.
There's Yell behind the net. Tied up by Hatcher. Podine in there looking for the loose puck. Bodine's going to come up with it. Carbonneau went down in front of the net. And Deadmarsh hauled down by Keane. Maybe saved the goal. Adam Deadmarsh has been a force today. Patrick Waugh played it. Saw Dallas on a change, so he negates the icing. Here's Drury stepping in. Fans thought that was offside. Drury tried to roll it in front, broke it up. Back the other way, letting it pass off the skate of Sakic. And now Dallas trying to get a face-off. And they'll get it. Icing the call with 58.8 left in the second period.
Boy, this game has just opened right up. It is rush after rush, both ends of the ice. Adam Deadmarsh, I think, has been Colorado's best player so far in tonight's game. It has been physical down low. Stefan Yell and Darian Hatcher. Confrontation in the corner. One thing about Darian Hatcher is he makes you pay a price. Sean Podine looked like he had Adam Deadmarsh, and Mike Keane pretty much tackled Deadmarsh right in the low slot. No call whatsoever. A little bit surprising, only because Deadmarsh had established inside position on Keane. A goal and an assist so far for Adam Deadmarsh, and you mentioned it, Chris. Boy, has he ever stepped it up with the absence of Fleury and Hayduk.
He was a major force in the Detroit series. Certainly made his presence felt this afternoon.
The thing about Deadmarsh, he's so versatile. He can play wing, he can play center, and he loves to go to the front of the goal.
And the return of Yell has given Bob Hartley the option of going back to Deadmarsh as a winger. He's a power forward wherever he plays. Letman, weak shot wide. Modano battling for the puck against Foot. And Foot got it out with some help from Clem. 20 seconds left, and the Avalanche trying to make this lead stand up through 40 minutes. Modano rolling it back in. The Avalanche got a tying goal in the final minute of the first period. Dallas looking to answer back here. Verbeek on the outside won't get a shot away against Aaron Miller. Sticks get high. Sloan in the middle of it. Look at Verbeek working over Miller. As the tempers spill over here at the end of the second.
Well, it's an interesting period. The referees are saying nothing's going on here, guys, and get to the room. But I tell you what, Colorado has got to feel pretty comfortable with the amount of open ice their players have had, their forwards in particular, in this second period. It's been a long time since I've seen Dallas this willing to open things up.
Kelly, one goal separates two great teams. We're ready for the third. Here are Chris and Brian. Guys.
Thank you, Scott. It has been run and gun so far this afternoon. Let's see if it tightens up in the third as the Stars look for the equalizer. And the Avalanche try to protect the lead to take back to Denver. Drury on the ice and plays it down into the Dallas zone. Sydor sends it around on the left wing. Sakic smothers Letnan along the boards. Zubov has his man pinned. And finally the puck comes loose. Foot chops it. There's Sakic and Deadmarsh after it again against Sydor. They've taken an assist away from Deadmarsh. He's 1-1 in the game. Ruling the Chris Drury goal unassisted off Sean Chambers. Now Hull starting down the ice. Drury upends him, lost his stick in the process. Played back down in the Dallas zone and icing against the Avalanche.
You know, the one thing that Colorado cannot afford to do is just sit back and ice the puck an awful lot. And the big reason why is that they have been absolutely destroyed in the face-off circle in this game. Check it out. After two periods, look at the numbers for the three top centers of the Stars. Modano, 13 of 16. Carbonneau, 8 of 10. Nieuwendyk, 12 of 15. That means that virtually every shift on the ice, more than 80%, Dallas is starting with possession of the puck. It puts a huge responsibility on the Colorado defenders.
There's a face-off that may be credited to Forsberg. Peter Forsberg did not win a face-off. He was 0 for 9 in the opening 40 minutes.
And perhaps Peter Forsberg may have a little bit more trouble with that shoulder or with that wrist, whatever was bothering him at the end of Game 4, than we have been led to believe by his other performance in tonight's game.
You just have to wonder when you see a stat like that, because Forsberg is not a bad guy in the face-off circle. Langenbrunner deep. It comes back to Hatcher. Hot shot, rebound. Still loose and now rolling into the corner. That's Nieuwendyk with Langenbrunner and Reed. It's been the best line for Dallas in the series. Matt Tkachuk steps up. Langenbrunner behind the net. Claude Lemieux knocking it to the end boards out of that center ice area. Now they come at it again. Nieuwendyk can't get loose. Langenbrunner turns, weak shot. Rebound out to Hatcher. His shot knocked down. And finally the Avalanche on their heels get it out.
Dallas controlling the boards, and again the points remain wide open. Anytime Dallas can chip it back to the blue line, all 5 Colorado players are down below the hash marks. Question remains though, can they get the shot through?
Dallas Stars have come from behind in these playoffs to win 5 times in the third period. That's 1 shy of a record, and trailing after 2, they're 4-2. But Bob Hartley's team hasn't squandered a third period lead in these playoffs.
Well, Bob Hartley's club is a club that doesn't have as many weapons in the lineup as they normally have. They will maintain more of a defensive posture than perhaps we have seen them in the past. And you know, you have to wonder, Hartley has had to really give an awful lot of ice time to his Stars, and will they have enough left toward the end of this game? Ken Hitchcock got a lot more mileage out of his third and fourth lines tonight than Bob Hartley has. So you would expect that on the energy side of the equation, that Dallas have a little bit more left towards the end of this hockey game.
We kind of anticipated that coming out of Game 4. But so far, it really hasn't played out. But now, as you say, we're getting into crunch time, third period. Modano trying to barge in, steered away by Waugh. Yell behind the net. He's hit hard there. Another huge collision. And Lefebvre up with a puck after being bounced by Mike Keane. Lefebvre ahead. And it's by Chambers down the ice. And you can feel it in the first 3 minutes and 11 seconds. It's Dallas going at Colorado. Mike Modano and Sean Chambers, the only old teammates of yours left with Dallas. And a member of the '89 Stanley Cup finalists, I should mention. We saw that feature in the intermission.
Yeah, most of us have gone on to greener pastures. At least we like to think of it that way. Another huge face-off coming up involving Carbonneau and Sakic. And Sakic wins the second consecutive draw for the Avs.
Bob Hartley wasn't pulling any punches about the face-offs. He says the Stars cheat on the drop and get away with a lot. Here's Hunter shooting it in on Ed Belfour.
Hartley said basically their strategy is just to tie up the centerman's stick. The sticks don't even become part of the equation. Because they might as well be playing with a soccer ball out there. Just tie up the stick and kick it back with their feet.
Fourth line out for Hartley. Hunter along with Donovan and Eric Messier. And Messier takes a run at his man. Hunter has to wait for him to get onside. Now Sloan sends it to the blue line of Colorado. Both teams changing. Lefebvre gets to center, flips it in on Belfour. Bob Hartley went on to say, yeah, our guys do cheat too. But it looks like so far tonight, or today, Dallas done a better job in that department. They've definitely done a better job at face-offs and suggested maybe they've done a better job at cheating too.
Well, it's the old saying, if you're not cheating, you're probably not trying hard enough. And the one thing that Colorado, as we see them drop back into the neutral zone trap here in this third period, they're not taking chances.
Chance for Forsberg in, and he rolled it just wide as Belfour got a stick on it. Lemieux tries to center. Hatcher breaks it up. Here comes Lettman over to Hull, broken up by Gusarov.
And let's remember that save made by Eddie Belfour on Peter Forsberg. Boy, a 2-goal lead at this point in the game may have been too much for Dallas to come back to.
Stars have given up 4 goals only once in these playoffs, and they won that game. Come from behind Game 2 against St. Louis, 5-4 in overtime, and a goal by Nieuwendyk, who's on the puck now. Here's Nieuwendyk into the zone, checked by Miller. A real battle in front of the net. Langenbrunner was down, so was Reed. And play is stopped, and Eddie Belfour, as you mentioned, a big stop off Peter Forsberg.
Throughout the playoffs, we have seen Ed Belfour make huge saves at critical moments in the game. Watch the play as Drury chips it down to Forsberg. It's a 2-on-1 down low. Hatcher is taking away the pass from Forsberg. Belfour knows that he's going to try and walk it to the front of the net. We've got Forsberg isoed. He is just so quick down low, but looks almost like Ed Belfour just got a piece of that puck with the right leg. Huge save by Belfour. Forsberg was looking for the insurance marker.
So another face-off in the Colorado zone. Nieuwendyk and Stefan Yell. Collins taking a long time to make sure they're set. Now drops it in. And another one by the Stars. Dave Reed fires. Rebound. Oh! Stayed out. Nieuwendyk thought he had it. And it is cleared by Podine.
What an opportunity there. And the huge break, the first huge break for a goaltender in this game, belongs to Patrick Waugh. Off the inside of the pipe, somehow stays out of the net.
Joe Nieuwendyk from a familiar position. Now Sydor pounding it in. And Waugh will cover. And Nieuwendyk has to wonder how that one stayed out.
Joe Nieuwendyk is just so dangerous around the front of the net. Always seems to be able to get his stick on a loose puck. There's the shot by Reed. He throws it into the middle. There's the whack by Nieuwendyk. I think Patrick Waugh caught a piece of that with the right arm. It bounces off the far pipe. Boy, it hops over the blocker of Waugh off the post. Aaron Miller does a good job just to not knock it into his own net.
And Patrick enjoys watching that replay on the scoreboard. Nieuwendyk has had 4 chances against Waugh this afternoon and has his 9th goal of the playoffs. Now Modano pulls it back. Sydor steps up, rolls the shot through, and Waugh kicks it into the corner. Gusarov ahead. Drury takes the pass on the tape to Sakic. Over the line with Deadmarsh. Now Drury after it against Grant Marshall. Zubov comes away with the puck. Sergei Zubov. Over to Marshall to the red line and in deep. Modano gives chase and Waugh came out, lost it, and the pass broken up as Modano tried to get it in front. Gusarov saved Patrick Waugh there. Now along the board, Zubov pinching in. Modano sends it across. Sydor moves up. Foot knocks it away. This is Marshall on the near side. Modano getting double shifted here. Playing on a line with Grant Marshall and Mike Keane as it's rolled back in.
You know, Patrick Waugh has done a great job in this series of handling the puck, but I noticed especially when Alexei Gusarov is out there. Gusarov hasn't played very often as of late. Waugh really goes out of his way and almost has gotten himself into a little bit of trouble twice, getting the loose pucks in the corner, both when Gusarov's been back there on the blue line.
Sean Donovan tying up the Stars in their own zone and getting a whistle.
Carbonneau relieved to be playing in his 200th game. You know, it was a scary moment for Carbonneau last game. Dale Hunter jumped out of the way of a Colorado point shot that Carbonneau had gone down the block, and the feet of Dale Hunter landed on the back of the leg of Guy Carbonneau. His knee brace actually saved him on the play.
Here's Forsberg whipping a shot just wide. Yeah, they hate to wear the knee braces, but he said if he hadn't had it on then, his season would have been over. Forsberg again, on the attack, in front, they score! Valeri Kamensky on a brilliant feed by Forsberg.
He is just so slippery, Peter Forsberg. You think you've got him lined up in your sights, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And he just slipped around Richard Matvichuk and then made a beautiful pass to Valeri Kamensky. Miller just chips it up the boards. And watch Forsberg. Taps it around Matvichuk, and he's gone. puts a move on Hatcher, goes to the backhand. He draws Belfour out of the equation, and Kamensky buries it. What a play by Forsberg. And you have to wonder, we know Richard Mapachuk is playing with that bad groin. Did that have something to do with him missing Peter Forsberg? It may very well. What a finish by Kamensky. Here's a guy with a bad wrist, scores his second goal of the game.
Did not appear to be shooting the puck well in the pregame warm-up, but they said we can't freeze it, otherwise he won't be able to handle the puck at all. So playing with the sprained wrist, he'll take those feeds all afternoon, won't he?
No question about it.
Forsberg with his second assist. He has 22 points to lead the Stanley Cup parade, and now the Stars are called for offside at the line, and it's crunch time at Dallas, down 5-3.
Have another look at the last Colorado goal. It was cashed in by Kamensky. Watch Belfour. He does a pretty good job of moving left to right. Kamensky, with all that experience, knows that he's got to get it up, and that's why it went in. There's the move again by Forsberg. He just freezes so many people. Pulls the puck on a string, draws Hatcher over before sliding it across. What a pretty goal.
So we're just approaching the 8-minute mark of the third period. And it's a 2-goal lead for Colorado, trying to take a 1-game lead in this Western Conference Final.
Just moments ago, Joe Nieuwendyk bangs one off a pipe, would have tied this one up. Such a fine line between winning and losing sometimes.
Here's DeVries. Sending it to the Dallas line. Now another chance. This time he gets it in deeper. Chambers behind his net. Close to 500 games playoff experience on that blue line for Dallas. The Avalanche have cracked through for 5 this afternoon. Here's a chance. Zubov in front. Glove down. Puck loose. Kicked in. Let's see. The puck's in the net. Was it kicked in? And we'll have an argument. And we'll have more than that. As they battled after the puck went in the net.
Brent Marshall took a poke at Patrick Waugh. Waugh responded. Be amazed if this goal counts.
That puck sat loose for what seemed to be an eternity. They're going to go upstairs. That puck appeared to be kicked in by Mike Keane.
You know, just prior to the puck actually entering the net, Patrick Waugh made an incredible save. Again, a little bit too aggressive. Waugh gets caught out of the play. Video replay officials will take a look at this one. You know, the only thing in question is whether it was put into the net with a distinct kicking motion. And at first glance, it sure looked like a pretty distinct kicking motion.
There will be a penalty on the play if not, and I don't think there's any question that Mike Keane kicked that puck into the net, and they now rule no goal.
No goal. Here's a look at it. Now, Waugh just made a great save, and in comes Keane. Yeah, there's not much to be necessary over that one. Here's the initial save by Waugh. He catches it right there. That one would have counted. That was off the skate of Grant Marshall. That would have been a clean goal. Incredible reactions by Waugh. Saves a goal. They will be shorthanded, however. The Avs have taken a penalty. Is holding the stick. Levied against Dale Hunter. The Dallas power play, 11:18 remaining here, has an opportunity to get back in. There's the initial save by Waugh. Boy, with the heel of the goal stick. Kicked in by Mike Keane. He tries to sell the refs that it was accidental.
Bit of Manchester United finish on that. And it's still a 2-goal lead for Colorado, but a power play for Dallas. Whoops, Darryl Sydor got all tied up with himself. And Stefan Yell takes it down the ice. Well, double clutch by Sydor, and he got all wrapped up. Oh, out through center, loses possession. Gusarov to the line, knocked by Podine, and he'll come up with the puck. Here's Podine into the Dallas zone, and now Sydor will start back. Pass ahead for Hall to the Colorado line. drop for Zubov. Back to Hull. And Hull behind the net plays out to Zubov. Now Modano will get it organized. Hull scores! Brett Hull!
He's done it for so many years. Brett Hull. Sergei Zubov passes up a shot right here. Ken Hitchcock, his head likely was just about to explode at that point. But let's see if we can find Brett Hull. Right here. Slides into an open area, accepts the pass, and launches a bomb. You talk to Brett Hull, and he will tell you that he relies on stealth in order to get open. That basically means that he's got to be sneaky. That puck deflected off the stick. Alexei Gusarov. Brett Hull scores his 5th goal of the playoffs. It's another power play goal.
Yes, it is, Brian. And it's a 1-goal game. Hull with his 3rd of the series. Boy, that I was going to say was vintage Hull. That's the guy that scored over 70 goals in 3 consecutive years.
It's just amazing how he manages to get open. You know, everyone's focus is on him. Still, he manages to get into a seam.
Offside at the line. Modano and Zubov assist on the goal by Hull. He beat Patrick Waugh in Game 4 to tie it late, and now he gives his chance to tie it again.
You can see, you can definitely see from that perspective the change in direction off of Gusarov's stick. But Hull just kind of slides out high. You can see Joe Sakic cannot get to Hull before the puck arrives just in time. 131 career playoff points for Brett Hull. He passes Father Bobby.
Is tied Dad the other night with that goal, and now with 2 points this afternoon. He'd love to tie Bobby in Stanley Cup wins. Bobby Hull with his name on the cup in the 1960-61 campaign, and Brett looking for his first Stanley Cup.
Now, is this not a typical Brett Hull kind of game? He's quiet. You don't really notice him all that much. Then all of a sudden, the puck's on his stick, and he doesn't need very many opportunities. He only had 1 shot on goal in the first 2 periods of play. He only played 11.5 minutes, so he was not getting an awful lot of ice time. He gets an opportunity with the extra man, and he buries it.
A couple of points for Modano. He has 16 in the playoffs, tied for the team lead with Nieuwendyk. But they're down by 1. Still plenty of time left, though. 9.5 minutes left as they battle in the Dallas zone. You can see the puck's loose. Yell is underneath Ludwig, and now it's pushed in front. Clem couldn't reach it, and Carbonneau starts away. Verbeek's on the left wing. He takes the pass. DeVries step for step, and he'll take Verbeek out behind the net. Verbeek comes back with the puck, though. Jamming at the side of the net, and Patrick Waugh has his skate on the puck along the post. No, it's in. The puck has got in the net. Now we'll get an argument. Let's see. Dallas has celebrated. And Brian, remember the other night, the bumper pad, Claude Lemieux told us the net doesn't sit firmly on the ice. And you wonder if there's a chance that puck slid under the net from outside.
Well, this one's going to be under review as well. It certainly looked like Verbeek had space on the short side. He had Patrick Waugh looking the wrong way. Good quickness by Verbeek. Greg DeVries had fallen down on the play. Verbeek circled the back of the net, tried to jam it in. And it looked like there was about a foot or so in between the skate of Waugh and the post, and sure enough, this one's going to stand. How about that? The Stars have come storming back. Here's a look from the net cam. Look how far the skate of Waugh is away from the post. Jams it into the skate. And I think you're right. I think that puck gets jammed up against the bumper pad. This time it's inside the line, however. The net cam, Verbeek on the wraparound, and there you see it. The Puck's there.
Puck's
inside.
under the bumper pad, right?
Yes, underneath the bumper pad.
I think Bob Hartley's saying, didn't the whistle go? And they're going to take another look.
Well, that's a good call by Hartley.
At what point did the whistle stop play? Well, it's a goal, and it's tied. In Game 5, it's 5-5.
Well, let's take a look at the Verbeek goal from our overhead camera. You see what? Split second late getting across. It's off the skate. Under the bumper pad at this point. It's a good goal for Pat Verbeek. Here's the bench reaction after the video replay official says yes.
And you wonder, Brian, if Colorado hadn't made such a big deal about the bumper pad earlier, would it have been cut back? Would it have saved their bacon there? Something to think about. But in this case, it is a goal. And we are tied in a building in a complete uproar now. The goals came 85 seconds apart. The Stars try to come back again, as they've done 5 times in the third period, to win in these playoffs already.
And the National Hockey League record for that in a playoff season is 6.
Adam Foote sends it ahead. It looked like the Avalanche were going home with a 3-2 lead in the series when Kamensky scored his second. Gritty play by Verbeek, though. And Pat Verbeek has his second of the playoffs. Now Forsberg cruising on the right side, back in. Cut off by Carbonneau. Lemieux gets on it. Here's a shot, tone save, Belfour. Ozolinsh moves up. That one glanced off a skate. Nearly caught Belfour coming off the post. Forsberg again. Colorado attacking. Ozolinsh steps up. He's checked by Verbeek, and it comes out to center. So the Avalanche trying to answer back. Away goes Ozolinsh again. He got a stick up on Hatcher, and Hatcher goes down. Carbonneau to center. Langenbrunner. Hatcher moving up. Langenbrunner chipped it by Ozolinsh. Gets held up by Kamensky, and the fans react. Nieuwendyk now knocked it off Clem's stick. Ludwig in deep. Nieuwendyk behind the net. Here comes the Dallas pressure now. Nieuwendyk rammed into the glass. Bounces off. Goes after it again. He got caught up with Dave Reed there, and the Avalanche get it out.
That's a big flare for Colorado because Sandis Ozolinsh had the stick knocked right out of his hands when he made contact with Nieuwendyk.
Here's Dave Reed. Whipped it across the front of the net, and Sakic's got it. Joe Sakic bursting into Dallas territory. Wrist shot, rebound, Drury scores! Chris Drury has scored, and Colorado leads. Do you believe this?
Does this kid love the spotlight or what? Chris Drury on the doorstep. The point shot comes in, and Ed Belfour just bobbled it. Darian Hatcher is trying to convince the referees to go upstairs for this one. Let's watch it. End-to-end action. Here's where Ozolinsh had lost his stick. Now, the shot by Reed goes wide. Colorado on the counterattack. Sakic cuts all the way across the ice. And there's Drury on the doorstep. And you know what? Even if he was in the crease, he gets drilled from behind by Sergei Zubov. Here's the shot by Sakic. Now, Drury is outside the crease when he gets the puck. Boy, it's close.
It is.
It's close, and Zubov buries him from behind.
Colorado goal is 6 of the playoffs.
Well, just to finish the thought from the other night, when we talked to Theo Fleury about Chris Drury, he said, you don't often see a young kid that wants to be a great player, but Chris Drury wants to be a great player, and he's coming up huge here.
There's a look from the net cam. You see Drury, he's buried from behind, and I think in the eyes of the referees, they're looking at this and they're saying, you know what, even if he's in the crease, he's there because Sergei Zubov pushed him in. So they don't throw it upstairs to the video replay official. What a wild game here at Reunion.
Is this fun? 6:36 to go, 6-5 Colorado. And a Face-off in the center ice area. When we come back, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada.
Almost impossible to keep your emotions in check at this point. Ed Belfour, I thought, really bobbled that point shot. Left the rebound lying around for Chris Drury. Now here's the play. Sakic throws it in. It's a chest-high shot. Boy, I think the fact that Drury waved at it with his stick may have distracted Belfour. Here's the bench reaction. And how about General Manager Pierre Lacroix? He's pretty interested as well. You talk about your emotions and the swing during this hockey game. Unbelievable. Lacroix won't even stay in the press box. He's actually standing outside the press box in one of the aisleways watching the rest of the game.
Well, in what has been a spectacular series, this is turning out to be the wildest of the games so far. Maybe not the best played, not the most physical, but on the entertainment scale, it's right up there again. Now Letman trying to cut in. Broken up by Lemieux, who hustled back and did everything to avoid the holding call on the play. Forsberg gets it out, and there's Lemieux at center. One-on-one against Matvichuk, and he whipped the shot just wide.
How about the fact that the Colorado defense continued to join the attack? Kucherov got caught, left Claude Lemieux back.
But they love this. I don't think Bob Hartley does right now, but this is old-fashioned Avalanche hockey. Verbeek putting it out in front again. That went off Deadmarsh to the boards. Hatcher gets it back in. Verbeek doing some good work in deep. Now, Keane nails his man. Drury gets up, desperately trying to clear it. And Ozolinsh will skate it out.
You know, I watched Bob Hartley back on the Colorado bench, and after that last shift, he went to Kucherov and said, stay back. You have got to stay back. You have to play this game, not only by the score, but by the amount of time remaining on the clock.
And the time remaining on the clock now, 5:05.
Ken Hitchcock said earlier today that his team looked like they were ready for this one, both mentally and physically. This has been one of those games where, really for the first time in this series, we have seen mistakes really play a huge role, potentially, in the outcome of this one. Really, I want to get back to that goal by Drury, because even if he had entered the crease first, skates ahead of the puck, and let's keep an eye on it, the ruling by the referees, it looked to me like the puck went in before either of the skates, but even if the skate had preceded the puck into the crease area, if the referees determined that Drury has full control of the puck, it's a good goal regardless.
3 goals in 3 minutes and 44 seconds, 4 in 5:40 of this wild third period. Brian, the last time Patrick Roy allowed 5 goals in a playoff game and won was back in 1991 in a 7-5 win over Buffalo. Doesn't happen very much. He's got a 1-goal lead. It's still 5 minutes remaining here. So this one's not in the win column yet.
I can guarantee you Roy is the type of guy that, you know, he's watching the clock. He couldn't care if he gave up 9 or 10 goals in a game as long as he gets that win. And he'll play better with the game on the line.
There's Sydor sending it back in deep. The Nieuwendyk line is out, and they have been dangerous with each shift in this third period. Grant Marshall, though, taking the spot of Dave Reed on the line. Up ahead it goes off Nieuwendyk's stick and played back to center. Here's Marshall, a shot vacuumed up by Waugh. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue. Avalanche with a 1-goal lead, trying to take a 1-game lead in this series. The series so good, we should call New York and ask the commissioner for best of 9. To see this one continue. Keane has Verbeek on the move and into Colorado territory. Keane taken out in the corner. Zubov steps up. Clem trying to gain possession. Took a big hit there. Carbonneau stepped into Clem.
Bob Hartley talked an awful lot about the performance of this checking line with Yell, Clem, and Podine on the wings. in the overtime period of Game 4. And he said, I thought that they completely shut down the Dallas offensive line centered by Mike Modano. So he's very comfortable using them. Take a look at the back check here of Carbonneau. A little bit of a hook on Aaron Miller. Pulls him down on the ice. No call on the play. But I talked a little bit earlier about the poke check by Ed Belfour, and this is always a dangerous play for a goaltender. Whenever you have to poke at the puck directly in front of you and knock it forward, you're left in a pretty vulnerable position. Here's the play where Peter Forsberg looked like he was going to be gone on a 2-on-1. He was hooked by Darryl Sydor. Now, it does not take much to pull Peter Forsberg down in a situation like that. I've always thought of Forsberg as one of the best in terms of drawing a penalty. But he didn't get that call.
From the face-off, Dallas controlled, but now Colorado's up with it. Deadmarsh speeding down the right wing. 2-on-1 with Sakic. Across, and oh, that almost went in on Zubov. Zubov made the play, but nearly put it in his own net. Clubbed a couple of times, and it comes down for Drury. A one-goal lead. Will it stand up with 2:22 remaining in the third? Sydor keeps it in, sends it to the open corner. Now Gusarov ahead, and Forsberg's back out with Lemieux. Forsberg shot off the stick of Matvechuk. It'll be kept in by Foot. Now Matvechuk up for Hull. A move past Forsberg, but Lemieux comes back. Claude Lemieux, nice move, and he nearly had Zubov beat.
Colorado only sending one forward in deep. They're going to make Dallas come a full 180 feet with no outnumbered chances to try and get the equalizer.
Off the glass from Lefebvre and out. It won't be long now before Belfour comes out of the net. Avalanche change after getting it in deep. Long pass for Hull. Barely reached it, and now he gets it in. Belfour still in the net with 80 seconds left. Carbonneau knocks it down. Tries to center off Sakic. Foot. Off the glass and out. And Belfour's got to stay down there.
And what a play it was by Adam Deadmarsh along the glass. He battles with Darryl Sydor, makes sure that the puck exits the zone.
Langenbrunner to the red line. Under a minute to go, and now Belfour's on his horse to the bench. To the line, and Belfour has to go back as Colorado got it out. Great wide pass. Keane's got it. Belfour vacates the net. He's out and on the bench now. The extra attacker. And it's rolled ahead. Sakic and Hull got off the bench to break it up. Open net. Forsberg scores. Peter Forsberg, an appropriate guy to finish this one in Dallas.
You know, the interesting thing about the end of this game, Chris, is that virtually every one of those battles for loose puck along the boards was won by Colorado. We heard Ken Hitchcock talking about, but look at this. They battle it up the boards. Right here. Foot wins that battle. Great job again by Forsberg on the boards to make sure it gets out of the zone. And then Colorado just looked like the hungrier team. At the end of this game, Colorado had more juice left, and you have got to admire the game that they put out there. They get the bad news about Fleury. They lose Hayduk in Game 4. Despite that, Hartley goes to the well. He plays Forsberg and Sakic and Foot, approaching 30 minutes in this hockey game, and they find a way to get it done.
And now the two-time President Trophy champions are on the ropes. Carbonneau proclaimed after Game 3 it was the Avalanche on the ropes. It's changed now. Forsberg, his 8th goal from Sakic, the empty netter, which should cap an uncharacteristic thriller here in Dallas. Time winding down, and they will head to Denver. The Colorado Avalanche, without Theo Fleury, without Milan Hayduk, put 7 on the board and win 7-5.
As we said at the top of the show, that was a different kind of playoff game. The Avalanche win 7-5 to take the 3-2 lead in that series. You could just sense before that game, it was hot in Dallas, the ice was lousy, that something different was going to happen, and it did. You very seldom see that many goals, but It was a great playoff win for the Colorado Avalanche. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and join us again next time for Altitude Classics.